Next, we're going to work on the drums. So I want to mute all the other instruments. And the best way to do that is to go down here and select our bass all the way down to our background vocals. Hold down Shift M, and that mutes all those tracks. Then we're just going to hear our drums. But let's start with the kick. And we could solo it by selecting in here and hitting Shift S. And that solos the kick. It's a bit quicker than doing it over here. So let's make this a little bigger and hear the kick drum. Now the first thing I'm noticing, it's very noisy. There's a lot of leakage coming through this mic. Especially on the snare. So let's start off with a gate. Go to Track Effects, go to Dynamics, and choose Dynamic 3 Expander Gate. And we'll start off bringing up the threshold to figure out where the kick is coming through, but the snare is cutting off. And we can adjust our gate using the range to decide how closed the gate is. Completely open and completely closed. Then we'll adjust the attack to make sure we don't cut off our first transient. Then we'll adjust the hold to decide how long the gate stays open when it first opens. Then the release decides how quickly it closes, and it kind of fades out at the end. Let's readjust the threshold. And bypass it to hear the difference. We want to make sure we're getting all the kick sound exactly as it's recorded. We just want to remove the leakage. That should be good. Now I want to compress the kick so it's a bit more even in the mix. Dynamics, Dynamic 3 Compressor Limiter. Readjust the knee to be a bit smoother. Change this to about 4:1. Make our attack a bit slower. The release a bit slower too. And readjust the threshold. If we go too far, it's going to sound too compressed or squashed. We just want a bit to keep it even. Before, just evens it out a bit. And then finally, we'll add some EQ. EQ3, 7-band. Now, like the vocal, I like to separate the kick into separate EQ bands. The low end, the low mids, and the top end, or the click of the kick. So start out adding some low end to make it sound bigger, using a low shelving right here, or here. Then I'm going to work on the lower mids to make the kick sound fatter or beefier. Just a bit. Then I want to bring out the top end or the upper mids to bring out the click or the attack of the kick. Just a bit. And it's starting to overload. So let's bring down the output. That sounds better. Now let's hear it back in the mix. And once again, we can A/B it by selecting it, hit Shift A, and turn off all the effects on that track. Sounds better. Now let's move on to the snare.